I've got a question for you. What's one of the hardest things you've ever gone through? I mean, you probably have a lot of things come to mind. I know I do, from different relationship issues in the past to going through a huge transitions in life, cross-country moves. There's all these things that just, like, we go through some crappy times in life, some difficult times. But what is the crazy part is some of the worst periods of my life at the time when I was going through them, I now look back on, and those are some of the best memories. At least I have some of my most fond memories during the worst times. And it's weird how life works that way, right? We think, oh, this is terrible, but in hindsight, we're super glad we did it, and we have these fond memories, these lights in the darkness, so to speak. And it's no different with fitness. My fitness journey was very tumultuous. I did everything wrong. I sucked at just everything fitness related. I was like, I want to get buff, I want to gain muscle, I'm sick of being skinny, but I didn't have a freaking clue what that meant. And so I failed and I failed and I failed. I listened to this advice and that advice, and everybody had their 2 cents to throw in there. And while I had some people offer me some quality suggestions, for the most part, the advice sucked and it didn't work for me. Maybe it worked for them. Maybe it didn't suck. It didn't work for me. As a skinny dude, like with a high metabolism, who struggled to put on weight no matter how much I ate, I don't know, it didn't work for me. And so I failed and I failed and I failed until I discovered what worked for me. And so rather than just offering you some blatant tips in this video, I want to encourage you, because it can be easy to start something and stop it. Like the statistics for how many people join gyms at the beginning of the year and then how many gym memberships taper off is staggering. It's crazy. And I get it, because this crap isn't easy. Like if it was, everybody would be walking around with 6-pack abs and muscles on top of muscles, right? It takes work. But remember that just as in life, like the parts of life that are really hard to get through, but how you have good memories of those and you look back and are like, I'm so glad I went through that because I wouldn't be here. It's the same with fitness. I would not be anywhere close to the same person I am if it wasn't for my own fitness journey. And I'm not talking about just like my physical state. I'm talking about my mental state, my personality, what I love in life. Like everything was shaped by that. And I feel like that's so often missed. We just look at, oh, I just want to get buff, I just want to gain muscle. And yes, that's obviously a part of it, right? But it's not the whole picture. And it wasn't until I got into it that I realized that that wasn't the whole picture. There's so much more to it. There's so much more ingrained in our mental capacity and the way we carry ourselves, our actions, our deeds, that are all tied up in it that you don't even realize when you're going through it. And so maybe you're at a point where you're hurting, you've gotten injured, you're not seeing the results you want, you're right in the middle, like you've started and you kept going and you're in that middle stage where you had some good success right off the bat and then it kind of tapered off and you're just kind of stuck. You're in the middle ground right now. I get it, that part sucks, but keep going. If you stop, you're gonna undo everything you've done and you're gonna kick yourself even more, because then you're gonna be like, I failed at this. Like, don't give up. You can accomplish your fitness goals. I don't care what anybody has told you or even what lies you're believing yourself. Like, oh, I'm just destined to be skinny, or I'm destined to be overweight, or whatever it may be. Like, don't listen to that garbage. Tell yourself every day, I'm going to hit my fitness goal. I'm going to make it, because that stuff matters. All right, I know this was a little bit different than my typical, like, do this in the gym and do this with your food video, but I just feel like it's important. I wanted to put it out there, and I hope it helps you. Comment below what your struggle is. Like, what is the biggest thing you struggle with? I would love to hear. And like I shared, my biggest struggle was kind of everything. Like, I just didn't know. I struggled with my food. I struggled with my workouts. I struggled with even like making sure that my form was on point. All these things I struggled with. But the biggest thing I struggled with was my mental game. That was by far the biggest thing, because I felt about this big. When I tell you I had zero self-esteem and I like kind of walked like this, all with my shoulders hunched over, like I did. And that was the biggest shift for me. That was the biggest thing I had to overcome. even more so than the physical aspect. So drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you struggle with or what your successes have been. Like, I'd love to hear both. So drop that below, and I look forward to the conversation that will follow. All right, have an amazing day.